Howdy folks, it is Diecastbuffet here again. Today we have a blast from the past. It is a 2013 Elliott Sadler Nationwide Salutes Onemain Financial Toyota Camry from the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Definitely a paint scheme I remember being on the racetrack at the patriotic races. So without further ado, let's go ahead and pop it out of the box. Alrighty folks, ready to get old box and let's dive into today's diecast review. Of course, this diecast is brought to you by our friends from Circle B Diecast. I believe I picked this one up from one of their Black Friday sales throughout the years. But yeah, you can head over there. They probably still got some more early 2010s nationwide Camrys, Chevys, what have you. And you can go and pick those up if you'd like. Or, hey, if you're interested in the new stuff, the 2024s, 2023s, whatever you want, make sure you use promo code DiecastBuffet. You can help support the channel at checkout. And, of course, you could save on shipping. Make sure to check that out. Details down in the description. And let's hop into this diecast review. Looking at the hood of the car here, you have Onemain Financial, which this was a very long-term sponsor with Elliott Sadler. A lot of people don't know this. But I believe they were City Financial, I think, or something like that. Anyways, they were a sponsor on Elliott Sadler when he drove the number 90 car in the Busch Series in the mid to late 2000s. So like 05, 06, 07. I think it was City Financial. It might have been someone else. Anyways, they rebranded and they stuck with them for a lot of years during the Nationwide and Xfinity era. When he was at RCR, Joe Gibbs Racing, Roush Racing, Junior Motorsports. I mean, he went around to a lot of different teams, and that sponsor went with him. So that was really cool. So you got the Patriotic Nationwide banner. That looks really freaking cool. Definitely like that. Get the Onemain Financial decal there. And check out the side skirt and the front splitter. All the stars and stripes on it. That is a very, very sharp looking paint scheme. Get the old school Toyota Camry front end, which definitely reminds me of the new Cup cars nowadays for the Toyota Camrys. If you really look at them, they definitely went back to their 2011, 2012 style Cup car front ends where they're very smooth. And in the 2013, 2014 Camrys, as far as the NASCAR Xfinity or then Nationwide series, they had a pretty smooth front end as well. And that's what it definitely reminds me of. Got Camry, number 11. I got Mail Comp, Sunoco there. Joe Gibbs Racing, I think. Maybe not. Anyways, go to the left side of the diecast here. Let's get a closer look at this paint scheme. A lot of people remember this paint scheme, or a similar one, when he was driving for, what is it, Childress or KHI? They were kind of like the same thing almost. Anyways, on NASCAR, the game 2011, I remember driving the number 2 car. And you know what's crazy is how in the world he never won a Nationwide or Xfinity championship. I mean, how many times was he like second place or third place for the title? It's like Mark Martin in the Cup Series. How he never won a championship, yet he was always there at the end. Always there, top 3 in points. And it's Roush days. He almost won one with Hendrick years after he said he was done racing and he came back from retirement. It's crazy. So you got Onemain on the side of the car there. Got a little bit of just a very unique paint scheme. The dark blue, the dark red, the white, and kind of a baby blue. So it's very unique in terms of the color palette. This was something interesting they did with 2013, 2014. I think it was mostly 2013 with the Toyota Camry diecast. They put this little Toyota logo on the rear window. I don't know how accurate that is to the real Toyota Camry Xfinity and Cup car, or Nationwide and Cup car, but they did do that for the Gen 6 ones as well. Get IR right there. Interstate Batteries, Tucson, Mac Tools, Lincoln Welders, Sherwin-Williams. Toyota, Elliott Sadler right there. I think that's his Twitter handle, which that was all the craze back in 2013 and 2014 with the NASCAR teams, even the chase to the Cup in 2014. I think they had their Twitter handles on it, which it was interesting seeing NASCAR embrace social media. Like it was definitely an interesting age. I got Toyota, a whole bunch of small decals there. I can barely even read. Got Goodyear, NASCAR Nationwide. Got Race Car, Edelbrock, Simpson, MSD, Jegs, Autometer, ARP, Mechanics Wear, 3M, Canadian Holly. Got the American Ethanol decal right there. With the back end of the diecast, got your goofy fake exhausts, which everyone apparently loves. These are the same ones the Cup cars had in 2012 and 2011. Get Onemain Financial, Toyota number 11. For those who don't know, the Xfinity / Nationwide cars since 2010 to present day 2024 are based on the Gen 6 COT chassis, which is why the back ends on these cars were almost identical to the Cup cars from 2011, 2012. They were literally the same chassis, and they just slightly modified them over time. Go to the right side of the diecast. I can't remember how many races he won with Joe Gibbs Racing. I know he won Talladega, but I don't know if he won any other ones. I remember him winning a couple races with the number 2 KHI/RCR car. Then he won at JRM. I know he won Talladega there as well. I don't know if he even won at Roush, but he was so consistent every year. And it didn't matter if it was the playoff format that came in 2016 or the regular season points format, which is Daytona to Homestead, which they had for a long time. I mean, the NASCAR chase for the Cup was very much saturated in the sport as far as the Cup Series, but the trucks of the Xfinity and Nationwide, they pretty much had their own old school point system a decade past the inaugural chase of the Cup season in 2004. And the championships, I mean, you had to earn it, because if you go to Daytona and you crash out, you're behind the 8 ball the entire season. There's no playoffs, there's no BS, there's no mulligans. You got to get all the way to the end of the season with no points cut off and points reset like the Cup Series has every 3 races, which is not exactly the best for a legitimate championship. Number 11 on the roof. It is the Denny Hamlin font as well, which is pretty cool. You do have a paint chip that looks like it was touched up on the deck lid, which I've seen that on numerous diecasts. It's impossible to fix it correctly, but at least they tried. And you got Onemain Financial right there on the deck lid. But yeah, this is one of those overproduced diecasts, as well as his primary paint scheme. I don't know how many of them are floating around now, but a couple years ago, these things were pretty overproduced. They stuck around a long time, but I don't know, man. There is something really cool about like 2012, 2013, and 2014 Nationwide Series, but then there wasn't, because it was the days of the Cup leeches, the Kyle Bushes, the Brad Keselowskis, the Joey Logano's. There was no restriction. If they wanted to run 30 Xfinity races or Nationwide races, they could. Nowadays, it's only 5. But as someone who remembers watching the Nationwide Series at that time and Xfinity, it was pretty hard to watch sometimes, because they'd go to Phoenix and Kyle Busch would lead by like 10 seconds and lead like 200 out of 250 laps. It was bad. I would say nowadays in 2024, 23, 2022, X, Y, and Z, it's the best the Xfinity Series has ever been. It's so competitive. They kind of reduced the Cup leeches and made it very sparingly available in the series nowadays. But back in those years, you used to look forward to the one-offs at like Iowa, Nashville, or Kentucky, because you knew there was no Cup Series champion driver going to go down there and win it by default. You actually got to see the Elliott Sadlers. You got to see the Regan Smiths of the world go out there and actually have a chance to win. And that's what I always look forward to, those summertime one-off races, and the road courses too. Those were always fun, because usually the drivers that ran them when they went to like Mid-Ohio or Road America, yeah, they had one-off drivers that would show up, but they weren't full-time anywhere else. They were like sports car guys or retired full-time Cup drivers that might come in. It was a lot of fun. But I definitely prefer nowadays Xfinity racing, besides the championship format, because back in those years, man, it was hard to watch at times. Cup guys would win everything. That's all for now, guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Feel free to comment what you think about this diecast. Very simple paint scheme, but I wanted to do a diecast review on it. A blast from the past. Can't believe this car came out, what is it, 11 years ago, 12 years ago? Like, holy cow. That makes me feel old. Diecastbuffet. Have a blessed one. Signing off.